There are great teams, there are legendary teams, and then there are the 1992 Dream Team. A team so talented that before the games even started, the world already knew something historic was about to happen. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Clyde Drexler, Chris Mullin, Christian Laettner. It's not just a basketball team, it was a collection of giants. The best players in the world wearing the same jersey walking into the Olympics, not only to win gold, but to remind everyone who ruled basketball. But the story of the Dream Team is bigger than dominance, because the team did not just destroy opponents, it changed basketball forever. It turned NBA stars into global icons. It inspired generations of international players. It made basketball bigger than America, and it created a standard that no team may ever reach again. But here is the interesting part. The Dream Team was born from failure. Before the gold medals, before the highlight reels, before the global fame, there was embarrassment. The United States had to lose before it decided to send its very best. And once it did, basketball was never the same. This is the story of the 1992 Dream Team, the greatest team ever assembled. Welcome to Beyond the Score. Please subscribe. If you haven't, turn on the notification bell. Comment what you want to see next. And please like the video. To understand the Dream Team, you have to go back before Barcelona, before the gold medals, before Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson were walking through the Olympic villages like superheroes. You have to go back to 1988, the Seoul Olympics. For decades, the United States had dominated Olympic basketball using college players. That was the tradition. America did not send NBA stars, it sent amateurs. And for a long time, that was enough. But the world was changing. International basketball was improving. European teams were becoming more organized. The Soviet Union, Yugoslavia were producing elite players. And America's old confidence was starting to look dangerous. Then came 1988. The United States did not win gold. It did not win silver. It finished with bronze. For American basketball, that was more than a disappointing tournament. It was a warning. The world was catching up. And the old system was no longer enough. That loss changed everything. Before it forced the question, if the rest of the world could send its best players, why was America holding back? Soon the rules changed. Professional players were allowed into the Olympics. And for the first time, the United States had a chance to send NBA players, not college stars, not future legends, actual legends. The best of the best. And once that door opened, the idea became impossible to ignore. What if Michael Jordan played in the Olympics? What if Magic Johnson came back? What if Larry Bird joined them? What if Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Scottie Pippen, Clyde Drexler, John Stockton, Chris Mullin, and one college star were all in the same team? It sounded unfair, because it was. But that was the point. The United States did not just want to win, it wanted to make a statement. And that statement was simple. Basketball still belonged to America. So the roster was built. Michael Jordan was the biggest name in the sport. Magic Johnson was one of the greatest point guards ever, returning to the gold stage after his HIV announcement shocked the world. Larry Bird was near the end, physically limited but still one of the greatest minds and shooters basketball had ever seen. Charles Barkley brought power, attitude, and fearlessness. Karl Malone brought strength. Patrick Ewing and David Robinson brought size. Scottie Pippen brought defense and versatility. Clyde Drexler brought athleticism. John Stockton brought control. Chris Mullin brought shooting. And Christian Laettner, the lone college player, represented the old amateur tradition. On paper, it was unbelievable, but paper did not capture what this really was. This was not just a roster. This was a basketball mythology. Imagine being an opponent and looking across the court. Jordan, Magic, Bird, Barkley, Pippen, all are there. Everywhere you look, there's a Hall of Famer. Every matchup is a problem. Every possession feels impossible. And before the Olympics began, the world understood something. This was not going to be a normal tournament. This was going to be a basketball exhibition of power. But first, the dream team had to become a team, because talent alone does not always guarantee chemistry. And when you put that many superstars in one room, there's always one question: can they actually play together? The dream team was coached by Chuck Daly, and Daly understood something important. You did not coach Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, and the rest of that group the same way you coach a normal team. These were not players who needed to be taught basketball. These were players who needed to be managed. Big personalities, egos, and reputations. But Daly was smart. He gave them structure, he also gave them the freedom, but he understood that the team's greatness came from trust. The players had to respect each other, and for the most part, they did. Because even among legends, there was a hierarchy. Michael Jordan was at the peak of his powers. Magic Johnson was the ultimate leader. Larry Bird was the old rival everyone respected. And the younger stars knew they were sharing a court with history, but that was the moment before the Olympics that became almost as famous as the tournament itself. The famous scrimmage, the greatest pickup game ever played. During training, the dream team split into two teams. One side, Magic Johnson and his team, on the other, Michael Jordan and his team. It was not just practice, it became a battle for control. A battle between eras. Magic represented the 80s, Jordan represented the 90s. In the 80s, showtime, leadership, and the old guard. In the 90s, dominance, competition, the future. And by the end of the scrimmage, one thing was clear. This was Jordan's time. The Olympic stage would not just introduce the world to the NBA, it would confirm Michael Jordan as the face of basketball. This is what makes the Dream Team fascinating. And it was a team of legends, but it was also passing of the torch. Magic and Bird had carried the league through the 80s. Jordan was taken to global, and Barcelona became the perfect stage. When the team arrived at the Olympics, they were treated differently. Opponents did not want to beat them. They wanted pictures, they wanted autographs, they wanted to stand near them. Some players were facing their idols. Imagine preparing for the biggest game of your life and asking for a photo before the tip-off. That was the Dream Team effect. They were competitors, but they were also celebrities. They were athletes, but they were also ambassadors. And then the game started. The results were brutal. The United States did not just win, it dominated. Game after game, the Dream Team overwhelmed opponents with speed, size, skill, and depth. If one superstar rested, another came in. If the team tried to slow Jordan, they had to deal with Barkley. If they tried to protect the paint, they had to deal with Mullin shooting. Turned the ball over, Pippen and Jordan turned defense into highlights. If they tried to run, Magic controlled the tempo. There was no escape. The Dream Team won every game by massive margins. They never looked threatened. Chuck Daly famously never had to call a timeout during the Olympic tournament. That tells you everything. This was not just competition in normal sense. This was basketball at a level Olympics had never seen. And yet the players took it seriously. Not because the games were close, but because they understood what they represented. They were not just playing for gold, they were showing the world the highest version of basketball. Every pass, every dunk, every fast break, every no-look assist, every defensive stop, it all became part of a global showcase. And no player embodied that energy more than Charles Barkley. Barkley became one of the team's most dominant and entertaining figures. He played with force, he talked, he attacked, he gave the Dream Team personality and edge. Jordan gave them greatness, Magic gave them charisma, Bird gave them legend, but Barkley gave them attitude, and together they became unstoppable. But the real impact of the Dream Team was not only on the scoreboard, it was the eyes of everyone watching. Young players around the world saw the NBA differently. They saw basketball differently. They saw what was possible. And that would matter more than anyone realized at the time. Because the Dream Team was not just winning games, it was planting seeds that would grow into the future of global basketball. The gold medal game came against Croatia. Croatia had talent, but against the Dream Team, talent was not enough. The United States won comfortably. The gold medal was secured, the mission was complete. America had returned to the top of Olympic basketball. But the real story was bigger than the medal, because in 1992, The Dream Team did something no team had done before. It made basketball feel global. Before then, the NBA was already popular, but Barcelona turned its stars into worldwide icons. Michael Jordan was no longer just America's biggest basketball star. He became a global symbol. Magic Johnson's smile, Bird's reputation, Barkley's personality, Pippen's defense, Malone's strength, Robinson's class. The world saw all of it. And for many international players, the Dream Team became an inspiration. Kids in Europe, Africa, South America, Asia, and Australia watched those games and dreamed differently. They did not just want to play basketball, they wanted to play in the NBA. And that is the legacy people sometimes miss. The Dream Team was so dominant that it could have made the world feel hopeless, but instead, it made the world curious. It made players ask, how do we reach that level? How do we compete with this? How do we become that good? And in the decades that followed, international basketball exploded. Dirk Nowitzki came from Germany. Paul Gasol came from Spain. Tony Parker, he came from France. Yao Ming came from China. Giannis Antetokounmpo came from Greece. Luka Doncic came from Slovenia. Nikola Jokic came from Serbia. The NBA became a global league. And while the Dream Team was not the only reason, it was one of the biggest sparks. That's what makes their dominance so important. They did not just show the world how far behind it was. They showed the world what basketball could become. The Dream Team also changed the Olympics forever. After 1992, the Olympic basketball was no longer just an amateur competition. It became a stage for NBA greatness. Every American Olympic team after that would be compared to them. The 2008 Redeem Team, the 2012 team. Every generation that came later, all of them had to live under the shadow of 1992. And none of them could fully escape it, because the Dream Team was not just great, it was perfectly timed. Magic and Bird were near the end. Jordan was at his peak. The NBA was ready to go global. The Olympics were in Barcelona. The world was watching, everything aligned. This is why we may never see anything like it again. Today, basketball is too global. The gap is smaller. International teams are stronger. The best players in the world now come from everywhere. In a strange way, that's part of the Dream Team's legacy. They helped create a world where another Dream Team is almost impossible because the world caught up, not fully, not overnight, but steadily. And that is the greatest compliment to the 1992 team. They were so good that they inspired everyone else to get better. So, what was the 1992 Dream Team? Was it the greatest basketball team ever assembled? Probably. But it was more than that. It was the end of one era and the beginning of another. It was the moment Olympic basketball changed forever. It was the moment the NBA truly became global. And it was the moment that basketball stopped being just America's game and became the world's game. The Dream Team was built to restore dominance, but its real legacy was inspiration. It made the world watch, it made the world learn, it made the world dream. And that's why, more than 3 decades later, we still talk about them like mythology. Because some teams win championships, some teams make history, but very few teams change the sport itself. In 1992, the Dream Team did all 3. This was Beyond the Score. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe, and comment below. Was the 1992 Dream Team the greatest team ever assembled, or has another team come close? I'll see you in the next one.